Hello everyone, welcome to challenge number 3 in the 5x5 infographic challenge. In today's challenge, we are going to learn how to visualize data and use data to persuade your audience. Okay, so we're back in Hawaii, and this time we have some data on the average monthly temperatures of different cities in the United States. And we want to use this data to persuade visitors and travelers to visit Hawaii because Hawaii has one of the warmest weathers in the entire country. Right, so what do we do? So what's the goal here? If you remember I-Core, the chapter on visualizing data, the goal we want here is we want people to compare different cities with Hawaii, Honolulu, Hawaii, and we want them to compare the temperatures of those places. In addition, we also want them to imagine how warm it is in Hawaii compared to the other cities. Okay, let's get started. So log into Venngage, and the first thing we want to do is we're going to pick a template. We're going to pick a chart-based template. So I'm going to go into the charts category and find a template there. So the one that I'm going to pick is the column chart. Now, why did I pick the column chart? If you remember our goal, our I-Core goal was to compare. We want the audience to compare different temperatures of different cities. And the column chart is one of the best ways to do that. Now, in Venngage, there's lots and lots of different charts. In the charts widget panel on the left, you can see if you want a different chart, you can just drag a different chart in. If you already have a chart on your canvas, what you can do is you can double click it. You can also change charts here. For example, I can change it to a bar chart, I can change it to a line chart, I can change it to a pie chart. But what I really want is the column chart. So I'm going to go back to the column chart and start from there. So the first step we want to do is we're going to put some data into this data table. We want to put our data into it. So I'm going to go into my Excel sheet or my Google Docs sheet. I'm going to just copy this entire the data. This data has been sorted, by the way. It's always a good idea if you do comparisons to sort your data descending or ascending depending on what you want it to do. This has been sorted descending order with the city with the highest temperatures first and then the lowest at the bottom. So I'm going to just change this. Okay, so we have the data. The next thing we want to do is we want to format the style or the setting of the chart. There are some pre-made styles here. So if you can see the chart styles, where if you click on them, you'll just see different preset formats that you can use. We're going to pick the one on the second row on the left. This preset format looks pretty nice. It has a border on it, and I quite like it. Another way that another way of formatting the chart is through settings. So if you go into settings, again on the right, you have different options to format it. So the first thing I want to do is I want to just rotate the text a little bit so that we can read it. It's a bit unreadable right now, and in general, you shouldn't do this because it's hard to read for rotated text, but I've rotated just a little bit, so it should be fine. So that's the first thing I did. I also want to show some grid lines, and I'll tell you what. So I want to show these grid lines. So these are the lines that go across horizontally. And I want to show labels. So I'm going to turn on the labels so that I can actually see the actual average temperature of those cities. Now I'm going to go back into data, and I'm going to change the color of all of these. So if you remember one of the design hacks or design principles of using color to highlight certain pieces of data, we're going to highlight Honolulu, Hawaii. So I'm going to pick one color for Honolulu, and I'm going to pick different colors for everything else. Right, so I've changed all the colors. As you can see, Honolulu pops out. And I've added a title, Average Winter Temperatures, so it's a bit clear, but it's still not enough. It's still not very persuasive. So I'm going to add some annotations and some icons to make this more effective. Right? I want the reader to really understand what it means, what it feels like to be in some of these cities during the winter. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a freezing point line in here. So I added a line chart, just a line icon. I'm going to change it to a dash line, and I'm going to change the color to black. Okay. I'm also going to put the text in there just to show you what it is. By the way, everything is in Fahrenheit for my for people who are doing this in a metric system. The freezing point is about 32 Fahrenheit or 0 Celsius. Right, so I have the freezing line point there. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to put some icons to illustrate how it would feel like to be in some of these cities by putting in what you need to wear to feel comfortable. So, for example, in Honolulu, all you would need is a t-shirt, right? For even in the 70s, it's pretty warm. It's definitely t-shirt temperature. But in the 50s, you might need a sweater. So I'm going to get some sweaters. And I'm just going to make many, many copies of this and just put them on each one of them. Now, in the 40s, you might need something else when you get below there. Perhaps a thicker sweater or a jacket. So let's grab this jacket. This jacket looks like it would do for those temperatures. And same thing, I'm just going to make several copies and put them in here. And finally, for the temperatures below freezing, I'm gonna use a snowman icon just to show you that you literally will be a snow person if you were here, because it's below freezing, right? There you go. And I'm just gonna move that label because no one can see it now. I'm gonna move it. Oops. So you can always undo, which is what I'm doing right now, if you make a mistake, and I'm going to put this right here. All right, the last thing I want to do is just add a quick text to tell people, just in case they miss this, that in Hawaii, it's t-shirt weather even in the winter. And I'm going to change the color, I'm going to bold it, and I'm going to change the color to the same color as the bar chart. There you go. So hopefully that was easy enough. I will see you in the next challenge.